Hello, my name is Mitch, and I draw Blood Force, and today we're looking at The Void, because Nietzsche told us to. Just kidding! It's Deathblow! Yes, we're revisiting that weird little time where Jim Lee just kind of decided to draw a little bit like Frank Miller for a while. Yeah, it's odd. But first, if you enjoy the channel, or if you want to support me as an artist, what you can do, you can open up the description, and if you follow the link there to my Patreon, if you were to subscribe there, that gives you access to all of the Blood Force comics, all the incoming pages, and any behind-the-scenes or exclusive stuff, as well as these videos before they get dropped on YouTube, usually a week or so in advance. Also, my commissions are now open on Instagram if you'd like to DM me there. But let's get into some Deathblow. So this one is a request, because you can do that. I've got a couple that are lined up that are kind of in that vein. Somebody a while back asked about doing some Valiants, and it took me a while to get a few, and so that'll be coming out in a couple weeks. But no, if you have an idea for a revisit that you'd like to see, get in the comments. I got a bunch of stuff. If I don't have it, I might look into picking it up. It does depend a bit on price, but we'll see what we can do. But for now, back to the death blowing. Ugh. This is some month. Somebody's bright idea was to make this just two different kinds of black ink. Yeah, a little bit. See, like there's the mouth. Yeah, you see. And it's a cool Jim Lee close-up. And you can't fucking see any of it. And this is, of course, the copy that I bought 30 years ago, I'm quite sure. Has not been in a bag with a board since then, as far as I recall. And I don't think I was going to buy a replacement copy. I don't think that's necessary. This has been beat to shit, though. Decent logo. I like that. It does stand out. Like, it's just that you got to, like, really twist it around to be able to see this theoretically cool image. But this is, of course... Wow, that actually seems kind of colorful in comparison. This is, of course, right after Darker Image number 1. So, Darker Image number 1 came out March of 1993. This one comes out in April, so they did have it ready to go. And this is Brandon Choi and Jim Lee writing it, and Jim Lee doing the art. So Jim Lee is inking himself in this weird, Frank Miller-esque style, because Sin City is huge right now. Mike Heisler doing the letters, Joe Chiodo doing the colors. What colors, right? There's no colors in this. And this is, as far as I recall, Deathblow is about a special ops spook, a Whatworks kind of guy who has a terminal illness and is deciding to right some wrongs, I believe. Which is weird subject matter for Jim Lee. And it's like, oh, is this like a passion project of his? I don't think so. He draws the first 3 issues and then hands it off to Tim Sale, which look interesting. I wouldn't mind checking those out at some point. And then he continues doing covers, so he was kind of invested a little bit, but I don't think this is the thing. And also, I don't think anybody was looking to Jim Lee come up with something that was not superhero-y. Like if he'd really gone at it, and if he was good at it, if the writing was good. So basically, if he ditched Brandon Choi on this one. And came up with something at the very least that was heartfelt. But no, this feels just like, man, Sin City is cool. They like churches. I'm going to draw some churches. So let's get into it. We can see the lack of holding lines in the confessional booth here. And this is... I will say this looks like it to have kind of reinvigorated Jim Lee a little bit. Because there's a lot... You can't say this was like shortcuts or anything where he's maybe trying to lessen the hatching or the rendering. Because there's a lot of extra work in here. And it's all, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I've done some heinous shit. I've killed all sorts of stuff, including a boar. So yeah, we're still riding the Apocalypse Now train. And again, this is some wild looking stuff for Jim Lee. He doesn't usually take these kind of chances. And like, this is just flat out gory, which you never see from him. He does seem to be getting away from the Frank Miller thing here, but maybe that's for the best. Yeah, it's kind of a mix between like a tinge of Frank Miller with a tinge of Jay Lee in here. And this again, like there's a massive amount of detail in here. It's a pretty good. I don't know about the choices for where he left the holding lines here. He did leave it up to the colorist to kind of pick up the slack. But no, that's a hell of an image. And again, look at the amount. This is rendering. It's like reverse rendering, but it's very detailed and wild looking stuff. If you enjoyed doing this, I kind of would have liked to have seen more of this, to be honest. I mean, like I said, he does do the covers for a while, but he doesn't draw very many of the comics. I don't think I've ever read Deathblow 2 and 3, so kind of looking forward to checking those out now, to be honest. So, I haven't really been talking about what the story is. There isn't really much of one. He's doing a forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I've killed all sorts of people. Look at all these people I've killed. I feel so bad. I should kill myself. Oh, can't do that. Even though he's got terminal illness. But okay, I think, from what I recall. But again, this does look very Sin City-ish with the folds and the shadows. But it's pretty good. And this is a Stormwatch Zero ad that also looks like it's done in kind of a weird style. Like, if this was some sort of gateway to a Jim Lee renaissance, I think that would have been pretty cool. But you think of the next thing he did, which I think was Wildcats #5, which is the beginning of the Killer Instinct crossover, which is considerably less inspired looking. I mean, like, look at this. This is, like, fucking wild for Jim Lee. This is like he's having a breakdown. He's usually very reserved and very kind of stays within his particular style. So yeah, he saw what Jay Lee was doing and was like, I got to get in on some of that. And then Pre shows up and he goes, "Can I help you?" And he glares. It's like, man, you were in the confessional booth and everything. Priests don't judge shit. Just say you did some bad shit, and he'll give you like some Hail Marys to do. Very Frank Miller looking panel here. Like almost to the point where it's copy. Like it's the kind of thing that you can do fairly easily. Like he's really dashing off those folds at the bottom of the pants there. It looks great. Yeah, so he's getting back to the Frank Miller part of our things. It feels like he's not sure what style to use with what part of the story. Like, during the more emotional parts, it's almost like Jeff Darrow looking shit. Some of it, like this. And then for the day-to-day, this is much more Sin City. And this is, like, again, a huge amount of detail. And okay composition, feels a little muddy, but no, pretty great. And like with the rain coming in and everything, yeah, this is all great stuff. And I even like this feel here, where he's kind of struggling against the rain and the wind. You get all the shit blowing around, very muted colors, and he's gonna go kill somebody again. Apparently. Again, I haven't read the next few issues, so I don't know who, but and we don't have the Batman treads. Those should have been in there. Oh well. And some kind of weird panel setups. Not too weird, because it's Jim Lee. But yeah, no, and he speeds off into the night. And that was it for Deathblow #1. We didn't really get much of anything, really, other than what the fuck is with Jim Lee's style. Yeah, just like 10 pages. So what are we going to do for the rest of the 10 pages then? We could talk about Death Made Black coming up in July. Or we could talk about Cybernary. That sounds like fun. So this is the cover. This feels like, because the entire thing, Because this isn't a flip book. You know, this is all... It just felt like he really wanted to give him a cover here. And a lot of detail, a lot of black. To the point where it's actually kind of difficult to make out what's going on in a lot of places. But this is some crazy shit. So Cybernary is weird cyberpunk shit. Set in Gamora. Where these are the HKs that showed up in Wildcats number 5, while the Killer Instinct crossover. No, really, it was just Wildcats number 5. They got wiped out. And they've got their HK dogs here, too. And, like, this is some just crazy-looking stuff. This almost feels like it undermines Jim Lee a little bit. Because Jim Lee is, like, branching out and doing some wild shit. And then this... Nobody, really. I'm Nick Manabat. I think this is the first thing he ever did in American comics. But this is a little bit of upstaging him. With this style that doesn't look like it's based on anything you've seen before. It feels a bit like underground comics, like, not like Robert Crumb though, but like Tim Vigil, like, just that nasty kind of black and white stuff, you know. And so these things are tracking Cybernary. That's her there. Great fucking pose. Who writes this? Do we say? I don't know who wrote this. I would guess Brandon Choi, though. And yeah, just black everywhere. And it looks great in Dutch angle. Weird panel format. Like, you know, this looks like it's going to be great. Look at these cable guns. Those look good. Those look like they could actually exist in the world. I don't know if they would do anything. And yeah, she flies at them. Got her sword, got her revolver, by the looks of it. That's cool stuff. Versus like high-tech cable guns. With all this black, the little bit of like red and blue really pops out. Like with these the scopes. And like the laser targeting shit. So she rushes them. They release the Predatech Hounds. Oh. And Union clutches his glowing schlong. And big double page panel. And then just kill everything. And because she's like a nympho droid, so she's supposed to be like a harem kind of concubine kind of thing. And something has apparently gone wrong. But like this is all great stuff with the blood flying out everywhere, and it feels kind of effortless, really. There doesn't seem to be anything here that he's really struggling with. Even like the shines on the tech. And yeah, dispatches everything. This is fantastic with the uplighting. I like the way he handles the explosions. And they've got her, I believe, under control here. Oh, Sin City Collection coming to you soon. Oh, not quite. Yeah. So it turns and slices his neck. Again, with all the black on the page, the blood really stands out. And with he turned the Dutch angle just enough to really maximize the impact here. I mean, really, the change... Well, I mean, he did it from this angle, so, I mean, this turn doesn't make a lot of sense, but with this panel here, it actually does kind of work. Picks up a grenade, and he calls her bluff, because, you know, a grenade at this range will blow them both up, but not if she shoves it in his stomach. And again, look at this. This rendering is insane. I think maybe I'll scan this in so that you can get a good look. But I like the kind of hatching in here. And just even like the rendering on the lips. Yeah, this is like completely different from anything that you would have seen before this. Again, great shot with the explosion. Really gets like a feel of scope here. And her pose is fantastic. And then just the whap, 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 whap while she bounces down the hill. And then some, like, Morlocks kidnap her. and I assume take her underground. And again, she's like a runaway sex toy. So that probably is not going to go too well for her. But yeah, that was... So really, Deathblow #1 looks kind of fucking crazy altogether. You get some of Jim Lee's wildest stuff. And he's kind of like... He's just finished with Wildcats. He's kind of top of his game right now. Just about, anyway. Like, my favorite Jim Lee era is the end of his Uncanny run. But you can't really say that he doesn't have all cylinders firing on this. And then this Nick Manabat guy just kind of took the ball and ran with it. And unfortunately, we did not get to see much of Nick Manabat. We got like 4 issues worth, I think, in Deathblow follow-ups, which means Jim Lee only did half of those issues. But and yeah, apparently he got sick after that and passed away at the age of 24, I believe, which is such a shame. This is such great looking stuff. I believe he was a Filipino artist that I think Wills brought into Homage. And we've got an ad for Cyberforce #0 coming up. We've already done a revisit on that, but maybe you should go check that out. Yeah, no, that's such a drag. But honestly, Deathblow #1 is not bad as like a value book. You get some great looking artwork all the way through. Not much story to speak of. Certainly not in the Deathblow part. A little bit more in the Cybernary part, but again, they're just half issues, so you're not going to get a lot. But if you just want to check out the art, which a lot of Image readers did, you could do a lot worse, actually. Yeah. Honestly, I was not expecting anything from this. I don't know why. Again, I haven't read it since 1990. I don't know, 3, 4, 5. And, you know, I don't have any strong memories of Deathblow whatsoever. But looking through it again, it's like, wow, that is not bad at all. That is some good stuff. I feel like I should maybe keep that at hand for reference. But anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications so you know when the next one's coming. Go over, follow me on Twitter. More importantly, go subscribe on Patreon. That's where all these videos go before they get dropped on YouTube, usually a week or so in advance. That's where all the Blood Force stuff ends up, all the finished comics, there's a couple of them now, as well as the pages, as well as any behind-the-scenes stuff, and a few exclusives. And, of course, you can go over to my Instagram and order a commission there, because those are now open. Just hit me up in the DMs. But, yeah, that's going to do it. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.